sweat on her. This third round. I was on her like a pit bull on a goddamn rabbit. I chased her all over the ring. I chased her. She's sweating.
Because obviously this was her first ever loss.
And it's hard for her.
Obviously,
she's never experienced it
10
before.
year on, she's still whinging.
Let me go to her face real quick. Because that baby was red. Because I was punching her hard in the face.
She's got good feet.
What
She's got a good jab, yeah.
What about you?
She doesn't look very strong.
You...
Come in at the skinny arms.
Yeah, I know.
Look at this. Look at her. Hold in, hold in, hold in. Look at her. Hold in, hold in. I had just fired on her before this. Look at her. Hold in, hold in. Look at this. Hey, okay. Running, 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 running. But you beat me up. I put everything on the line to win that fight. Only thing that wasn't in my favor was the judges. That was it.
What's good, family? Ishaman the YB back once again. So we just heard there from your chick, Claressa Shields, letting slip. She lost against Savannah Marshall. Now, it's important to note that these aren't my words, yeah? When this footage came out of the amateur fight, Shields made several particular points. She highlighted the fact that Savannah was the one running, which she was, ain't gonna lie. And I'm one of them people, I told people before the actual professional fight happened, I said I thought Shields was the winner of the amateur fight. Why? Because she was pressing the action, she was looking for a fight. Savannah was the one who was the beater in that occasion. I'm consistent here, I don't pick and choose. It makes me laugh. All the people who were shilling for Shields were the same ones. So equally say, all the people saying, yeah, Shields won at the weekend, are the same individuals who said, yeah, Shields won the amateur too. I'm sorry, you can't have it both ways, people. Yeah, if you think Shields won the amateur fight by pressing forward, showing little regard, I'm going to be honest with you here, in the amateur fight, Shields pressed forward, had no regard for what Savannah was doing, and Savannah had to backpedal. And in fact, Savannah was the one on the ropes, getting worked. Yeah? You can't have it both ways. Oops. Now, Shields makes several particular points. Savannah running, Savannah running, Savannah holding. Oops. Yeah. Shields was the one holding. Shields was the one running. Shields was the one on the ropes at the weekend. So what? Make your mind up here. And the question is, if Shields, who you heard her bigging herself up in the amateur fight, what happened? That's the question, people. What happened? Shields in the amateurs pressed forward and did what she did. In the professional night, at the weekend, when she's supposed to be so much better now, what happened to that same energy? Why didn't we see Shields pressing forward? I've heard Gooper saying, yeah, Shields was too aggressive. You what? Shields was too aggressive, pinned on the ropes. Jokers. Yeah? Especially when the history shows that Shields, there's a history of Shields moving forward and overwhelming Savannah Marshall. At the weekend, where was that at? Where was the press forward energy? Oops. Marshall didn't take a back step the whole night. And for the same reason I said Marshall lost the amateur fight is the same reason I tell you she won the pro fight. It was complete role reversal. Marshall had no respect for Shields whatsoever. Despite Shields actually having... Do you know how bad it's got to be for someone to have... Shields has the quicker hands, she has the better counter-punching, and despite them two factors, Marshall still marched forward. No regard, no respect. Triple G style. Yeah? At not one point did you see Marshall say, damn, she's turned me off here. We've seen it many times before. People start off super aggressive and they get turned off. At the weekend, Kambosos was something similar. Kambosos started off red hot. After a few licks, he realised he got beaten to submission essentially. Yeah? There was none of that from Marshall and Shields. Shields didn't do squat. So all I'm asking is people to be consistent here. And bear in mind, I did a video yesterday. Shields' own trainer said he didn't like how much she was pinned on the ropes. Yeah? Now Shields just said she was running, I was on her like a dog. She was running, I was on her like a dog, and she was holding. All the things were the opposite at the weekend. She also said at the very end, I put my all into it. Yeah? She said, I left it all out there, I put my all into it. Now, at the weekend, I'm sorry. The fact of the matter is, who at the weekend can you say put it all into it? Who at the weekend was on who like a dog? Who was it? You tell me. Because it weren't Shields. Shields wasn't on Savannah's ass like a dog. And that's why I'm so eked out by the fact that after the fight, the way Marshall was carried on, it's weird. 100% paid off. 100%. If there was ever an argument for someone to have won a fight, it was at the weekend. Do you know what I'm saying? Marshall comes out, oh, she's the GOAT. Yeah, she's the best ever. Nah, man, you paid off. I don't care what no one says. No one goes in there with an arch enemy and just starts sucking them off. I don't care. After a close fight. Oh, she the best ever, yeah. I'm not being funny, yeah. I never rated Shields anyway, and I rate her even less now. Yeah, because that was a 1 out of 10 Marshall, and you still went life and death with her. That's the God's honest truth. You had a chick in front of you, walking forward for 10 rounds, with her hands down, and you only managed a few pot shots. Okay, now, do you know what I'm saying? A big lanky chick walking forward with her hands down, and you manage a few pot shots. How good? What's good about that? What's great about that? I'm sorry, what's great about that? No knockdowns. Didn't even stumble her, truth be known. You couldn't stumble a big lanky chick walking forward with her hands down. That's problematic. And never mind anything I'm saying. Listen to what she said out of her own mouth. Let's not pick and choose here, people. Yeah, if Shields is all hyped up talking about her pressure and her leaving it all out there and this, that, the other, let's not backtrack now. Let's not pick sides. That's why I don't rate most fans. Most fans aren't consistent. I'm consistent. I'm telling everyone now, I am gonna, every time, if someone is pushing a fight, if someone is on your ass and showing no respect for what you're doing, that guy's always going to get top marks in my book. Because that's something that most people can't do. Most people in a fight, they sit at mid-range and they try and play tic-tac-toe. Yeah? If you're in there and you've got no respect for the person in front of you and you're just walking forward, I don't understand how that isn't the pinnacle of the sport. Canelo against Floyd, he ain't do that. Yeah? Canelo couldn't bring himself to commit and actually get stuck in. Canelo was happy to get his head boxed off at mid-range. That's Canelo for you. Same really against Bivol, to be quite frank. Canelo was happy to be submissive and get his head boxed off at mid-range. He didn't want to put his chin down, get his hands up and wade through the fire. Marshall was prepared to do that. And really, Shields didn't punish her for it. Which is why she, round upon round, was able to do the same damn thing. In fact, I'm not going to play the footage, but let's have a look at some of these occasions here. Let's have a look at some of the positions we found ourselves in. Yeah? How about that? Here we go again. Look, off the rip, when it even started. And this, I haven't, you saw me then. I haven't picked out a particular time frame. The first time frame I pick out. You see. Wait a minute, I'm in the wrong way. The first time frame. Your chick Shields on the ropes. The next time frame. These are, by the way, people, these are all random. These aren't me picking and choosing. The next time frame. We see Shields in the corner. Yeah? The next time frame. Marshall is in the centre of the ring. Now this isn't as bad, but the point is, Marshall maintained ring dominance the whole way through. They're squabbling in the centre of the ring. Centre of the ring. Shields is against the ropes. More or less centre of the ring. Marshall's taking the centre of the ring. Shields is down bad and posted in the corner. I'm sorry, man, honestly. When I heard people saying, oh, YB, Marshall looked awful, I hadn't watched the fight yet. I thought, damn, man, she's obviously, she's choked. And then I watched the fight. I thought, what are people talking about? You can't win. I'm sorry, yeah. You don't win a fight. You don't win a fight cowering in the corner. You just don't. I'm sorry. I don't care what no one says. Yeah? Let me make it clear right now. If I ever have a fight, yeah, and you see me cowering in the corner, I'm going to come out and tell you. I was cowering in the corner, and I was a beta male. I was submissive. I ain't won the fight. I'm going to tell you now. And anyone who knows anything about combat just knows that. No one finds themselves pinned in a corner for nothing. Particularly when it's not like Shields has a big long resume of her being in the corner, being on the ropes. She doesn't. She's the one normally holding the centre of the ring, being the ring general. Even when she fought Hammer, who was huge, she was the one pushing Hammer into the ropes. All of a sudden now we haven't yet seen one clip of Marshall in the ropes. Why is that? Yeah, if Shields is so tricky and so whatever else, how has she not leveraged that to oppressing the opponent, which ultimately, that's the job. Now, I'm not saying Marshall had the cleanest work, but in all fairness to Shields, it's easy. This has to be said, yeah. It's easy to go into a fight with a defensive mindset. For example, look at Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia went in there with Errol Spence and managed to survive and go the distance. The point is, when you go into a fight with a defensive posture, yeah, you can look good slipping and sliding on the ropes, but that's all you're doing. Yeah, you can look good slipping and sliding and pot shotting here and there. Yeah? For me, that don't win you a fight. That's the least you could do on the road. What else are you going to do? What else? Let's be quite frank here. What else would a top level fighter do? Okay, you're slipping and sliding on the ropes and pot shotting. What did that pot shotting get you? Yeah? If you're going to pot shot, you should pot shot your way out from the corner. Yeah? Pot shot your way into the centre of the ring and back her up. How about that? Yeah? Why didn't you take your pot shot and ability to push, to keep the fight in the centre of the ring? And I've seen Floyd for years. Yeah? Floyd says, people complain about my power, but they don't come forward. Which, for the most part, apart from De La Hoya really, and maybe Maidana, apart from them two, most people, that is true. Now, Shields was parroting the same thing until she got in there and she realised Marshall ain't got no respect for her. And that's why you see her posted in the corner. And these are just random frames. I haven't picked out minutes. You think it's a coincidence? More or less every frame we've picked out today, you see Shields in the corner. And even this bit here, like even this angle here, yeah. People will say, YB, look, that's Marshall in the corner. But what you'll actually notice is, if you go before this time, this was more of a pivot from the ropes, yeah? That's where that came from. Do you understand? I did say in my post-fight analysis that there were occasions where Marshall would get Shields to the ropes and then there'd be a kind of pivot on the ropes. That's the only time that Shields observably had Marshall against the ropes, but it wasn't a function of, it wasn't a case of Shields working or breaking Marshall down to the ropes. It was a case of Marshall has got them both to the ropes, and then it's more of an angle thing. Yeah? Because it might appear that Marshall's close to the ropes there, but the frames before showed that Marshall was the one pushing forward. And you got to remember, people, as well, Marshall's lanky. Do you know what it takes for a lanky fighter to walk? These things shouldn't really happen, truth be known. A lanky fighter shouldn't be the one walking forward. Look at Chisora versus Fury 2. Yeah, it's normally the small fighter with fast hands. Yeah, it's normally the small fighter with fast hands who does the oppressing. So the fact that Marshall being lanky, which means when you're lanky, you've got more holes. And that's why I'm not rating this whole pot shotting business. When you're lanky, you've got more holes to cover. And when you're the one closing the gap down, it's almost inevitable you're going to get... It's inevitable. It's almost inevitable anyway. Even a small person walking forward. But usually, small people walking forward, they can almost... Look at... Well, the best example is Mike Tyson. The smallest people walking forward, they can almost roll under the shots and whatever else. A lanky person trying to do it, it just doesn't make sense. It's hard for a lanky person to rock and roll coming forward in terms of balance and whatever else. Here we go. Look, I mean, I'm sorry, people, yeah? I'm just clicking through the footage. So we go from... There's a round finished, yeah? And, again, Shields is in the corner. How many times now have we shown every single exchange Shields ends up pinned on the ropes? Every single one. So far, we haven't seen any occasions of the other way around yet. Again. 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 This is the first clip we've seen any work in the centre of the ring. Again. 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 And this is what I meant here. Oh, YB, look, there's one for... And even if you count this one, okay, it took into the 10th round to see Shields in an offensive position. But like I said, if you actually look at the frames before... If you look at the frame, so this is the frame 34:16, yeah? If we go back to 34:10, it was actually Marshall who oppressed Shields to the ropes. I said that. There were a few occasions of Marshall getting Shields back to the corner and then a little pivot. And there was a few, probably 2 or 3 times that Shields got her work off after. But that doesn't count in my opinion. Doing pivots is cool, kind of cool technique, but that's not breaking someone down as such. Every single occasion for 10 rounds, I've just clicked at random, yeah, for 10 times. I can't play the footage because Sky or whatever else. But every single occasion, all we see with the whole fight is Marshall showing no respect to Shields and putting her in the corner. I'm sorry, people. From what we've seen there, every single occasion, literally every single one, every single occasion, it's as simple as that. Yeah, you can't win a fight in this manner. I just don't believe it. Particularly when Shields, up until this point, I've never seen Shields fight this way before. Why is that, people? Why is that? Why has Shields suddenly become stuck on the ropes? Because if someone can't punch, if you're not feeling someone's shots, yeah, if you're not feeling overwhelmed, people only go to the ropes when they're overwhelmed. No one just goes there for the sake of going there. Yeah? When you're under pressure and whatever else, you go to the ropes. Because the ropes signifies you really trying to get away. The ropes means the ropes are the final limit possible. I told you before, if this ring had been infinitely big, Shields would have been back in Flint, Michigan. That's how far Marshall would have pushed her, based on the evidence. Not based on my opinion, based on the evidence. And you don't win a fight, certainly not by a shutout. I just don't believe it. I'll never believe it. I'll never ever believe it. The fight was as close as it gets. This fight, if there was ever a draw, this was it. Based on the evidence. Based on what Shields has said in the past. Yeah? I played a video at the start of this video. Shields going on and on. Oh yeah, I bullied her. I put her on the ropes. Yeah, I bashed her up. I pressed her. She was running. And now, in the pros, it was the opposite. So don't pick and choose here, people. Yeah? And if this fight was made, I mean, if we looked at this fight, yeah, based on the stills, it's a wrap for Shields. And there's no man winning a fight, yeah, finding themselves in the position she found herself. I'll never believe it. This fight was a BLM agenda. Yeah, same as the fight before. That's why Baumgardner won. She never won that fight. Baumgardner and Shields are part of the BLM. Yeah, the BLM agenda. Oh, let's do the whole Black Queen thing. Oh, she a queen. That's what it was for. That's what it is. Yeah, there's no way it's a coincidence. Because Ben Shalom and all of his friends, yeah, it's one of them ones. 100%. I told you before the fight, they were playing videos. Oh, Shields was a victim of... What? And even when you listen... Honestly, listen to the commentary. Everything Marshall went forward for 10 rounds. I didn't hear anyone say anything about it. Shields damn near spent 10 rounds on the ropes. And all I heard was, wow, look at Shields. I hate to break it to people, yeah? When you've been pinned on the ropes, that's all you can do is rock and roll. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's not get it twisted here. When you're on the ropes, you have no other options but to rock and roll. So let's not make out that it's some amazing thing. Any high-level fighter will rock and roll on the ropes. That's not rocket science. And try and pot shot. Because what else can you do? You can't do nothing else. You can't do anything tricky in that sense. And yeah, she was slippery, but at the end of the day, someone's got to be slippery. And when, for example, if Golovkin had fought Floyd Mayweather, I believe you'd have seen. I'm trying to think what high-level boxers did Golovkin fight. My point is, Golovkin charges forward, has little regard, and bangs away on the ropes. He win them rounds. But for some reason at the weekend... Listen, Shields is somewhat slick, which means you're never going to be able to hit her clean. That said, Marshall hit her with everything else, but... Do you understand? She come forward... her offense could have been a lot cleaner, but still, what else could Marshall have done? She showed no regard. She proved Shields has no power. And she proved she had no respect for her power. And she went forward and she put shots together. Yes, Shields was able to maneuver them, but that's not... When you think about a fight in that sense, all you can really do is put someone on the ropes and put your shots together. That is the pinnacle. Categorically. Yeah? Put someone on the ropes and put your shots together. That's the pinnacle of the game, in my opinion. You don't get any higher than that in the game. When you've got someone on the ropes and you put combinations together, what's the next step? How do you go? Or what's a higher achieving step than that? Explain to me. What chain of events is higher than putting someone on the ropes and putting your combinations together? I don't see what you could achieve more than that. And that's why Golovkin in his prime was so hard to beat. Because he'd walk forward, put you down, put pressure on you, and put combos together. Now, some people broke, and some people didn't. The bottom line is, you are picking up, in my book, you pick up them rounds. Almost by default. Because all the other real top boxers, they don't do that. Show me Devin Haney stuck on the ropes. Show me, where Kambosos was able to stick Devin Haney on the ropes for the whole fight. You don't see it. I could click through right now. In fact, let's do that right now. Because people keep sucking off this. I told you Shields ain't no good. But just for argument's sake, let's now click through Haney vs Kambosos. The whole fight, Haney is in the centre of the ring. Yeah? The whole fight. In fact, if anything, Haney is the one oppressing George. That's what a great boxer does. A great boxer don't get stuck on the ropes for the whole 10 rounds. He just doesn't. And a man winning a fight doesn't do that. So there you go then. That's what great boxers do. Yeah? Andre Ward versus Kovalev. Same thing. Particularly the second fight. But to be honest with you, even the first fight, Kovalev wasn't able to. Even though he knocked Ward down, he wasn't able to stick him on the ropes. So anyway, man, I'm tired of talking about this, but honestly, I was shocked at the cards, I was shocked at the judges, and I was shocked at the public's reaction. But what the public's reaction showed me was that most people don't know what they're looking at and or talking about, and most people will take the narrative of what they've heard. Honestly, listen to the commentary from Sky. They sucked off Shields something retarded. I've never heard anything like it. And everyone, even people who were supporting Marshall, I've heard them parroting what Sky was saying. Oh, Marshall looked awful. Honestly, again, I didn't watch it live. I'd heard people's reactions before I watched the fight. I thought, damn, it must have been bad. When I actually turned it on, I was shocked. As you've heard me, I was shocked. Couldn't believe what I was seeing. This fight was, I had it, no joke, I had it 6-7 rounds to Marshall. And maybe 8, probably 8 rounds actually. I think I had about 8 rounds to Marshall. 7-8 rounds to Marshall. Because for 7-8 rounds, for 10 rounds really, she came forward. She came forward and threw shots. And at the end of the day, you can say, well, the shots didn't all land clean. Listen, some shots from Marshall did land clean, as did some shots from Shields, but it wasn't enough to turn the balance. Neither fighter did enough to change the balance. As I keep saying, if Shields was landing that many clean shots, yeah, if Shields was so effective with her shots, why didn't it change the tone of the fight? Yeah? Because normally, if someone's landing consistently, the opposition will break down. If the opposition is not breaking down, and in fact is continuing to back you up, it shows. I actually rate Marshall more for that. Do you understand? I said it the other day, but it's like Triple G. When Triple G, would walk through shots, people wouldn't hold it against him. They'd say, wow, he's Superman. But for some reason at the weekend, Marshall was walking through and had no regard for what Shields was doing, and people were still counting. How can you count work that's having no effect? Conversely, whatever Marshall was doing, Shields, apart from being knocked down, obviously a knockdown is the ultimate, you've got me. But outside of that, the next best thing is pushing someone to the ropes. There's nothing more cowardly in that sense. There's nothing more beta. When you're on the ropes, that is your submissive position. Outside, the next step is, how many times have we seen it? Yeah? People go to the ropes and then end up on the floor. Yeah? Most times people don't end up on the floor unless it's a clean KO. Most times people won't be KO'd in the middle of the ring. People won't be TKO'd in the middle of the ring. Most TKOs happen next to the ropes. Now, I've already said, salute to Shields' defense, but that's not the point. Every single exchange, she found herself there. And that's a wrap. Marshall won the fight. It was a robbery. And there's no doubt about it. It's funny. I've made a video like this for the last few days. And people say, I said to people, listen, I'm not someone who just waffles. I'm not someone who's biased. Yeah, when AJ lost to Usyk twice, I came out and told you he lost to Usyk twice. I had to check this weekend, I had to check myself. You know what, YB? Are you being biased here? Are you being blinded? If I was, the same way I did with AJ, and you might know me, I've had a much bigger love affair with AJ than I have Marshall in that sense. If I was going to shill for anyone, it surely would have been AJ. No, I don't, as I told you before, I don't shill for no one. If you lose, you lose. She ain't lose. Yes, she could have been done cleaner work on the ropes. But nonetheless, that don't mean you lost the fight. Shields is the one who need to think about what she's doing, if anyone does. This was an 8 rounds to 2 fight for Marshall. Simple as that. Shields had no answers. Yeah? Conversely, look at Devin Haney. George Kambosos came out a lot more aggressive. Guess what? Devin Haney had all the answers. He never once resigned himself to being pinned on the ropes. Why is that, people? If going to the ropes, yeah, is just another thing people do, why is it all the real top boxers don't find themselves there? Oops. Yeah? And I bet you any money, it's a lot more likely, for example, if Devin Haney's in there with, I don't know. Oh yeah, great example actually. If Devin Haney's in there with Pitbull, that'll be an intriguing fight in that sense. But I'd bet, well, one of two things will show. If Devin Haney is able to negate Pitbull's aggression, that'll prove he really is the most supreme boxer. But I'd bet Devin Haney will find himself on the ropes more in the Pitbull fight. Because Pitbull is even more effective at going forward. And therefore the fight will be closer than the Kambosos fight. Anyway, don't listen. I'm going based on the evidence. I've just gone through the whole fight with you there. If there was no evidence of Shields being oppressed, this video wouldn't exist. But bearing in mind the things she said about the amateur fight, and then what happened at the weekend, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna pick and choose. Yeah, Shields won the amateurs, but then she also won the pros. No, we don't do that here. We pick a lane and we stay in your lane 100%. So like I said, don't no one waffle here. Respond to the points I've made, because so far none of you man have had anything to say. Oh, YB, you're drunk. YB, you're drinking. What you ain't said is, YB, your analysis is wrong because of A, B, C, D. Because you can't. Because the analysis is 10 for 10. Yeah? 100%. Smash the like button, subscribe, and you will be back, no doubt about it.